There's been mixed reaction to the proposals by the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill, also known as the BELA Bill, to change the future of homeschooling. Now, the bill is proposing some significant changes, as you've also heard as well, including the fact that children must be registered for home education. The parents will also need to notify the department at the end of each phase of, if the parents wish to continue with homeschooling. And pupils will also be assessed at some point by a competent assessor. These are some of the proposals are being made there by this bill, and also looking at the fact that, there have been some concerns, as you've heard as well now, around the vetting of some of those who are providing the education, the institutions, sometimes parents opting to send their children to some of the centers there. So let's explore this and see if Bouwe van der Eems Pestalozzi, Trust Chairman, is with us now. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Some significant changes. Let's just start there before we even get into the nitty-gritties that are being proposed by the BELA Bill, particularly where, homeschooling is concerned. Your initial quick reaction to some of the proposals?
Well, my initial reaction of the proposal is that the proposal of BELA Bill undermines the rule of law. Parents have the right to choose home education, and BELA Bill gives education officials the right to set aside the decision of parents by giving them the power to decline such applications. So that is the problem. If registration for home education was a mere administrative action, there shouldn't be a problem. But the problem is that it empowers education officials that do not know the child, have never seen the child, to make decisions that can set aside the decisions of parents. Now, such decisions are only the courts have the power to set aside the powers of the decision of parents, and only in extreme cases when parents are not able to make decisions in the interest of their best, in the best interest of their children. But in this case, education officials have got those powers, and therefore we say it undermines the powers of the rule of law.
All right, and we've just spoken to Section 27 just a short while ago. I'm not sure if you were able to hear some of what was said, but in part of what they're raising is some of the parents during home education, for example, send their children to centers outside of the home and don't do background checks on what kind of institutions are these, and some of them are not even registered. Teachers in some of these instances are not qualified nor registered with the department. And I wonder, is this indeed correct, and how do you mitigate against this?
Yes, that is correct. But remember, when the child receives education outside the home, that is not home education. Home education means the child receives his education at his own home. So if you send the child outside the home, that is not home education. Now, there are problems with centers and so on that are not registered, and the cause of that is that the cost of regulatory compliance for educational institutions is so high that these small centers are not able to comply with the requirements of the law. So a revision of our whole system of how do we that allow small centers, and they don't want to be illegal, it's just the regulatory compliance is just too difficult for these small operations. So
if they're still not, of course, though, getting, their papers or their regulations, their regulatory requirements sorted out, they're breaking the law, though. Yes, but at the end of the day, many of these centers are operating in the best interest of the children. There is the public schools are full. There are parents with children that have got nowhere to go, and then there's somebody willing to help. And in that emergency situation, these centers pop up left, right, and center. And these centers, in general, do what's in the best interest of their children. They want to comply with the
requirements of the law, but the barrier to regulatory compliance is just too high for them.
All right. And there's another concern, though, Section 27 saying that because there is not, enough vetting being done, when it comes to some of these individuals that would be homeschooling some of the children, if there is sometimes an issue of sexual misconduct, there is very little that can be done to discipline some of these educators. I wonder, how is the vetting then being done? And how then do parents hold those particular tutors or educators to account?
I think the previous speaker talked about the register of sexual offenders. I think if that register is made publicly available, and if offenders are actually, as a rule, put on that register, and it's publicly available, every reasonable parent will check that register before they appoint somebody to enter the privacy of their home and work with their children.
But how is the vetting then being done in this particular regard? Because, she was talking about that one aspect of it being, you look at that list against what the Department of Social Development is doing. But there are other layers here, particularly qualifications and all of that. How is that vetting process being done or supposed to be done by the parents?
Yeah, there are no rules for that. So a parent is looking for somebody to assist them with certain subjects, and there are many websites through which you can get access to tutors, and they can be online or physical. And there are in some of those websites rating systems. So you can book a tutor, and you can receive their services, and you as a parent can rate them, and then you can look at the rating and say, oh, well, this is quite a good tutor. And on the website they put their qualifications. So it
doesn't sound secure, though. It doesn't sound solid enough, because someone can lie about their qualifications or even get someone to post a good review about them.
Yeah.
So it's not secure.
No, nothing is secure. So nothing is guaranteed, but these are things that I think contribute to a certain extent.
So shouldn't then the department get involved to then monitor what is being done in that regard if it's not so secure then?
Well, that is if you believe that the department is better capable to evaluate the quality of services provided than civic society. If you believe that the department is better in doing that, then maybe that's a better solution, but I don't have that confidence.
Well, I don't believe anything. I'm just asking the question so that I get a better understanding to know exactly what's going on here. Because if a parent is just going to log onto a website and see a rating and see the qualifications, if someone lies about their qualification, then the parent doesn't know. And that person could be coming into the home and teaching a child something that is not correct.
That could be, but hopefully the parents will be present, and they can see what's happening, and they can make their own judgments. But nothing is guaranteed in life.